All right, let's bring in former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer. Ari, we are still waiting on that briefing to happen. Could be newsy, which is why I'm going to do a quick market check, because I do think that these markets are very dependent on what it hears from the White House hour to hour, day by day. Right now, the Dow is down a bit, but still hovering near record highs throughout this war. It has continued to climb. The S&P 500 about flat. Oil prices pretty much sharply unchanged, as I like to see. So there's sort of this holding pattern going on right now. I mentioned earlier when we were talking to Martha, the president urging the American public to be patient with this war and the rising energy prices. Here he is earlier on that. Listen.
Mr. President, you pushed to suspend the federal gas tax.
Yeah.
Are there other initiatives that you're...
Well, there may be. It's very temporary. Yeah, there may be. Anything to keep it down. I appreciate everybody putting up with it for a little while. It won't be much longer.
Because oil at 108, gas at 453, that does inflict some pain on the American public. Does it have enough patience, as the president suggests, to continue as this war continues?
Well, the president said it won't be much longer. But here's the problem right now. The president, to use a sports term, is halfway up to the net, which is a very bad place to play the game of tennis. If you need to be at the baseline or at the net, when you're halfway up, nobody knows which way you're going to go and nobody knows how it's going to end, and you put yourself at a disadvantage. And I start to think that that's where the United States is vis-a-vis this war with Iran. We need to either cut and run, say it's over, we won, President Trump will try to say we won, or finish the job. And the political problem the president has is no matter what, the Democrats will oppose him. Independents have a chance to really support this if it's brought to a successful conclusion and the Iranian regime is toppled and a new Middle East is begun. And Republicans will love it no matter what. But this middle muddle we're in right now is creating a lot of political problems for the president.
Fair enough. This is a Patrick DeHaan post from Gas Buddy on those high gas prices and how Americans are, apparently changing their behavior as they remain high, suggesting that summer travel is going to be greatly affected by this. Almost 67, 68% of Americans are saying gas prices are impacting their summer travel plans. More coming soon. So we'll watch if that is indeed the case. But Ari, to your point, how important that hearing was this morning with Admiral Cooper. Here he is specifically stating that what he saw as far as all signs pointing to Iran's intent to create a nuclear weapon. Listen.
All signs pointed to Iran's intent to create a nuclear weapon capability. And then to protect their nuclear program, Iran built thousands of ballistic missiles and drones, and they did it for two reasons: to create a shield to make their nuclear site untouchable, and to create an offensive capability so large that regional partners couldn't possibly defend against it.
Incredibly important to hear that in the middle of this, Ari.
And that underscores why there's a sense that this war is not yet over, nor should it be over, because everything he said is right. This is what Iran did. And we know we haven't finished the job. We haven't gotten the uranium out of there yet. They still have missiles. They still threaten the Gulf states. So there's more work to be done to achieve the very objectives that the president set out. The military has made tremendous headway. But the American people know this is not a complete job yet. We'll know it when this Iranian regime is gotten rid of, when new people step in, the Iranian people are overwhelmingly pro-Western, and a new Iran is born that no longer threatens its neighbors. We'll know it, we'll feel it, and our troops will come home. Right now, there's no prospect of them coming home with a victory because it's that middle muddle that I was referring to. And this is where things can and should be turned around. The world will be more peaceful, and politically, it would put a lot of wind into the president's sails, as well as Republicans heading into November. This middle muddle is no good for Republicans.
Ari, I'll finish off with this. This is President Trump earlier, obviously coming off the incredibly important meeting with President Xi. Xi apparently made this promise to the president. Listen.
President Xi has promised me that he's not sending any weapons to Iran. That's a beautiful promise. If you think about it, he gets 40% of his oil. He's not sending oil boats in, tankers in with 20 destroyers alongside of it. No, he wants it. He does want it open, like me. I want it open, and we'll get it open.
Not a lot changes till that happens, and that's going to be a big challenge. Ari, final thought.
Well, no question. China is suffering as a result of this war. The price of oil has surged for Chinese, and it hurts them hard. But as for the promise that he's not sending any weapons, that's a trust but verify promise. He may be saying that, and the weapons are still being shipped. So I'm not sure I really trust what he's saying.
Got it. Ari, always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.